Good. Busy contracting stuff out.
I had a little surgery yesterday.
Liquor license, that's a different story.
Yeah, bad vibes in that.
Channel 9, yeah. Yeah, it's 9 now.
I can't remember the last time I had a Comcast.
Yeah, I've had that.
Oh, yeah.
18 or 19.
What's that?
I haven't had it since 18 or 19.
Oh, you're probably longer than me then. All right, it is 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Wednesday, June 4th, 2025 Pembroke Select Board meeting. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note this meeting is being broadcast live on Comcast Channel 9, and recorded for airing at future dates. Sorry? Oh. We'll begin with announcements. I actually have a statement I would like to read before we start. At our last meeting, some of the members of the Tree Lighting Committee, including longstanding organizer Kathleen Keegan, came before us to share that they were retiring as a group and were hoping to pass on their torch to the town. I completely missed the opportunity to acknowledge them or their contributions properly due to some distractions taking place in the meeting, and I wanted to publicly express our appreciation now. I would like to offer our thanks and appreciation to Kathleen and the rest of the committee for their work, efforts, and many years of dedication ensuring our tree lighting took place year after year, and I sincerely apologize for the oversight. I would also like to address one other issue. As chair, I take responsibility for setting the tone of our meetings, and I apologize that the last one did not go as I would have liked, nor should the community expect. Moving forward, I will insist upon respectful, productive conversations that best serve and represent our community, and I welcome your continued feedback on how I can best serve those needs. Thank you. I do also have a couple of announcements. Pembroke Military Support Group does a fundraiser every year. It's a raffle calendar. They're actually in the hallway right now. If anybody would like to purchase any, they're one for $10 or three for $25. They will be at random meetings out in the hallway here. You can find them on Facebook if you want to message anybody directly over there. And then you can also get in touch with Elaine Crudup or Julie Caruso if you would be interested. Sure. Can you guys come out of the doorway and just sit down, please? Just so, thank you.
We have the deputy fire chief here tonight. I don't want to block the egress. Thank you.
Come on in. I thought I had one other announcement. Oh, we do have our Household Hazardous Waste Day at the Recycling Center is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can find, there's a flyer with a bunch of information on there, what kind of things are accepted on our website and on Facebook as well.
Or call the office. We're happy to.
Or call the office as well.
And I just want to encourage people to take advantage of that. If you are a Pembroke resident and you pre-register, it is free to you. It's part of your trash fee. So if you have
How many people are registered, Bill?
over 200 and almost 250 now, we are super excited about that. So please take advantage. It is something that your trash fee and we budget for. So we absolutely want everyone to take advantage of it. So.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Does anyone have any other announcements?
I have one. I actually wanted to make sure the public knows, because I know a lot of seniors actually watch us on Channel 9 for Comcast, that last week, longtime senior services volunteer John Melchin passed away. And like I say, believe he was 86 years old. He did so much for this town and for seniors, medical rides, Meals on Wheels. So I just want to make sure that the public was aware that John's passing, and more details should be coming soon enough. Since he was a veteran, he will be buried in the Bourne National Cemetery. So that's it then.
Did we see what his services were?
Not yet. His niece hasn't told the senior director.
Okay.
Yet, so.
Thank you. Oh. Does anyone have anything else? Okay, moving on. We have a 7 o'clock poll hearing. Do we have anybody here to speak? Oh, that's you, okay. Plan number 310-43620, install one JO pole on Wampatuck Street beginning at a point approximately 15 feet southwest of the center line of the intersection of Wampatuck Street and Pine Tree Lane. Pole to be installed near the intersection of Wampatuck Street in between existing P27 and P28. Hi.
Hi, so I just took a look at the job earlier today. Like you said, we're just looking to install a new pole. On that pole is going to be a recloser. That just kind of helps with system reliability, just in case there was ever any outages. That kind of secludes the outages to a very specific area rather than a lot of people losing power at once. So that's kind of the reasoning behind the pole and the device on that pole.
Okay. All paperwork is in place?
Yes, it is, ma'am. All abutters were notified. Is there anyone here to speak in favor or have any questions? Poll hearing, Wampatuck Street.
Does anyone on the board have any questions? Comments?
Quick question, is this going into the sidewalk?
No, so the pole's, it's going to be, I could actually show you an image. I was looking at it on Google Maps earlier. It's,
It's here.
I think the sidewalk is on the opposite side, yeah.
That's your plan.
Yep. Show you a Google Maps image real quick. So it's just gonna,
Kids,
can I come up?
Yeah.
Sure.
We were just talking about this.
So it's going over here on this grass. I think the sidewalk is on this side. It's just going in line with the other poles.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else? If not, do I have a motion?
I move to grant the approval to National Grid and Verizon on the joint petition, also known as Plan Number 310-43620, to install one JO pole on Wampatuck Street beginning at point approximately 15 feet southwest of the center line of the intersection of Wampatuck Street and Pine Street Tree Lane. National Grid to install pole 27-50 at approximately 42.06982 through 70.82805. Pole to be installed near the intersection of Wampatuck Street in between existing P27 and P28 in Pembroke.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
We do have a scheduled appointment at 7:15. I do see Lori and Jason here. I think we can move forward. 7:15, we have Jason Cook from Somewhere Else Tavern with a request for outdoor live entertainment license. Do you mind coming up?
Good evening, gentlemen, and Tracy.
Hi.
I think it's pretty basic. We're asking for 6 hours a week of live entertainment, 7 to 10 on Friday nights, 7 to 10 Saturday nights. We've got a pretty cool venue there. I know most people in this room have been there for some sort of event or another. We like to have banquets for the school sports, bereavements, all kinds of things. But we've created a venue that's kind of fun. We have some musicians in the room tonight that have come to support us. It's just a fun thing. Laurie and I have put our heart into it. It's a tough industry. We're looking for a niche that we can keep this thing going. Financially, it would really hurt us if we weren't allowed to have this live music. I know we've been battling with some neighbors over the years. Some people just don't like live music. I get it. But we're very respectful for playing between 6:30 and 9:30 on the weekends. And we'd hopeful that we can hopefully come to a decision in our favor and carry on what we've invested in. And a lot of people have a lot of fun, and it's good, clean fun, and it's early. We have respect. Nobody wants to stay there till 1 o'clock, including myself. So we like to do it early and get in and get out of there. And we're going to be very serious about the sound decibel machine. Some of our musicians have reached out, said that they even use them at other events and venues, and going to be very aware of that problem and that noise amount. So we think we've got a handle on it, and hopefully we can move forward with it. Thanks for hearing me.
Jason, what time are you open till on Friday and Saturdays?
We have a 12 o'clock license. But, you know, very seldom is anybody there that late. When the music wraps up, some people will linger in the tent and whatnot, but usually everything's all wrapped up by 10:30 under the tent, but the music is stopped at 10 o'clock. So, excuse me, we'll probably go until 10:30, Tracy, excuse me, here.
Well, 9:30,
Yeah.
not 6:30 to 9:30 it says.
I believe, yeah, something like, I believe our original was 7 to 10, but if we went from 6:30 to 9:30, that would be fine also. We could be very flexible on that.
And so obviously this would be in the tent.
Yes, ma'am.
And paperwork-wise, we have everything in place here.
You do.
Sabrina?
Yes, you do, ma'am. There is something that I wanted to point out, and it was brought to my attention earlier, and I understand the discrepancy, but want to explain it. There has not yet been a tent permit pulled from the building department and fire safety, but I do believe with some of these pending permits and alterations of premises, I believe that the cooks thought that this was all going to be happening pretty much simultaneously. So generally, when you go send in an application to Boston to the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, you always know there's going to be like a 30-day wait to hear back from them. And that's when a lot of people close on loans and file their final permits, get their final occupancies. A lot of it, the work happens then. So it is my understanding that that is potentially overdue and needs to be addressed right away. But that is something that we did not hold Mr. Cook to prior to tonight. So that is not, that's me bringing that to you now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Sabrina.
No worries.
And when it comes to permitting and whatnot, we've invested quite a bit of money. We're over $2,000 in permits right now, so financially, it would really help us out to stay in business in our special town of Pembroke, so.
And obviously the concern is noise. You guys are really packed in there with the butters.
We had one problem with one of the abutters that lived up on Lantern Lane, and he and I sat down like gentlemen and worked it out. And as far as I know, he hasn't had a problem with that since. So, I mean, things can be worked out. All it takes is a gentlemanly conversation, hopefully, in most instances.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the noise monitoring system?
Yeah, Rich, I'm not sure. Sabrina and I went over it at one time. The town of Pembroke, to my knowledge, does not have a noise ordinance. What we found when my engineering friend was helping me do all the paperwork for the planning and the zoning board, the Bridgewater was one of the closest towns that had a noise ordinance. And in my opinion, I used to be in the sand and gravel business with a gravel truck. And it was because they have a sand and gravel plant in that town, so that was monitored by what time they can fire up all that big equipment. To answer your question, I don't know exactly what the decibel should read on the decibel noise meter. That
And
might-
where is that do you have,
It's a portable unit, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we've used it before in other years and always kept it to where we thought it would be manageable.
and where is that located?
Our manager, if Mike could
One
come up, that'd be great.
All right, so what we found was, you guys didn't have the town of Pembroke, as far as we could find researching, didn't have a decibel.
I was going to say, we have an anti-noise bylaw that is
Yeah.
one of the bylaws that needs to be addressed. It does not specify time, and it does not specify decibels.
Decibels.
Right.
But
So-
George, the enforcement officer, I thought used 100. Is that correct?
So with our research, we found anything over 70 decibels, it's between 70 and 80, was considered, I don't know how I would say it, not an infraction, but louder than it would be acceptable. So we were keeping it under 70 decibels through our portable readers.
Okay.
And where are they located, the readers?
We monitor it.
Is it
15
one? And then
Yeah,
you
we
just kind of
do it
walk
from different
around?
positions, yes. Yeah, we also went
So it's
up on-
mobile?
Yep, it's mobile. And then we also went to the neighbor on Lantern Lane and had
In
our
front of
meter
his
there as
house,
well.
right.
It was well under its,
And as I said before, a couple of our vendors have reached out to us, our musicians, and said they've had to do this in other towns, and they have the proper meter and would be, more than professional enough to keep it underneath that reading for us.
I went off the standard.
Everybody's aware of that. We don't want any more complaints or trouble. We just want to enjoy some outside fun, summertime.
And you had an event a couple of weeks ago, and that went till 10, but you're applying for a 9:30.
We didn't have any music.
That was a one-day event.
Oh, that was a
Yeah,
one-day
one
one,
day, yeah,
excuse
we
me.
had a
You're talking about the
It was a
wedding.
wedding,
That's
excuse
a
me,
whole-
sir.
yeah,
Yes.
that's-
No, I mean, if anybody's using that as a guide, that
We
was a 10
actually
o'clock
stopped about
event.
9:40 because it was really good. It was a little loud. It's one of the louder bands, to be honest, but everything was okay, and we said, let's not push the envelope. And
We also had to play a little louder so we could see where the decibels would read at, and nothing ever went over 80. So we kept
Little
it low.
experimenting.
Yeah, just to see where we could be with it.
And are these full bands, or are they just like the acoustic set you see inside of a bar?
Both, Sean, if I can address you that way.
course.
There could be two guys on, playing acoustic guitar, or it could be a four-piece band.
Yeah.
So it varies as to, we have one girl that comes quite often, a country girl, whatever, country western, whatever they call it now. She's all alone, so it varies from one person to 5 people perhaps.
Average 2 to 3.
I was going to say, generally, we refer to it as amplified and acoustic. So are you plugging in or not plugging?
And
Plugging in.
This would be
Yes.
plugging in.
Okay.
And it allows us to have a little bit bigger of an act. We do, if those of you have been there, they know what kind of a space we have inside. And we keep it to 1 or 2 people because it's so small, but this allows us to spread our wings a little bit outside underneath the tent and have some more talented, if you want to use that term, to play outside.
Some different local talent we can bring in that are on a lot bigger scale that we can fit inside.
And it's correct that we don't have any outdoor live entertainment licenses in Pembroke,
Currently, no. Pembroke does not have any. This would be its first.
only indoor. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Yeah,
Comments?
actually I do.
Okay.
My concern is like everyone else's with the noise itself.
Right.
And this, unfortunately, has been going on since 2020. And also, you've never pulled another permit before that, but you've been outside with entertainment since then. Now, I understand with COVID, I turned a blind eye because I want to make sure everyone's okay and they do what they have to do. I
Right.
mean, alumni, Tolson's, all those folks did what they had to do. But it kept on going even without coming to us. So how can I help you out with the outdoor permit when you've been illegally doing anyway for the past several years?
Well, we didn't know we needed a permit, John. The only time we were approached about that was last fall by Deputy John Shea and the building inspector, and said it's going to be a whole new, different ballgame this year, and you have to have your permitting in place, in which we've done. We've followed all the steps. We weren't aware that we needed an outside permit. As Sabrina said, there's never been one given in the town of Pembroke. So we weren't aware of it, and as soon as we were brought to our attention, sir, we went and did everything with the help of this woman right here, who's been fantastic and very helpful to me. Couldn't have done it and followed the steps without her. I didn't know anything about, permitting, and when it was brought to our attention last fall, we addressed it.
Well, like I said, Soundcheck Studios does the same thing.
All inside.
No, they were outside during COVID.
Oh,
And they
okay.
came to us for a permit every year. So that's why I'm like, it's out there. And that's my concern where, you doing what you have to do to make sure you survive as a business, I get that. The complaints I've gotten personally that they don't want to put out here, down closer to the Hanson line hearing you guys, closer to 10 o'clock, mostly through 10 o'clock, and they're like, what's going on? So like I said, I'm just concerned about the citizens of,
Right.
like I said, being a good neighbor, making sure everything is okay. The complaint we had for the wedding, that concerns me too. And that
Correct.
wasn't, what are we trying to do here? Because usually at that time at night, 27's pretty quiet. 5 o'clock on 5, 6, whatever it may be, is, people coming home from work or going to work during the week. During these other hours, sound carries quite well. And when I hear people near the Hanson line going, what's going on? And calling the cops also, I'm concerned how I can give you that outdoor permit, for that at least. For actually sitting out, drinking, having fun, whatever else. I have no problem with that because other people have those premises, those change of premises too. So I said I can give you that opportunity, but everything going on, like I said, for the past 5 years that I've been hearing, I'm very reluctant basically to get an outdoor entertainment permit. And I'm just putting it out there for everyone because of, like I said, it's 2025 now. So.
Okay. Can I reply to
Sure.
this? So we have moved some things outside. We've redirected our stage out there. If you've seen, we were in front of the zoning board for that. We have different fail-safes in play now, more as monitoring. Now that we're aware of these rules, we thought with the whole COVID thing, I get it. I think we fell short on that, knowing that we needed to extend these permits and do everything. Now that we do know that, we are more than vigilant to stay on top of that and keep moving forward to make sure that we don't want to be a nuisance to any of our neighbors or anybody around. We're just trying to keep the lights on.
There was an incident recently, but was that a noise complaint?
That was not a noise complaint. That was a complaint that the neighbor had involving a flat tire, which then when the police came, for some reason they said it was a noise complaint. It had nothing to do with the noise. No one called them that. It was a discrepancy with our neighbor and the tire he had on one of his vehicles.
For the interests of full disclosure, that neighbor called and reiterated the story. So there may have been more to it than a flat tire next door.
Okay.
I'd like to hear if there are any abutters or neighbors and speaking for or against. I'd like to hear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Randy Croce. I live across the street from the tavern. If we're in our backyard on our deck, you can hear the music, but if a car goes by, the cars drown out the music. Also, that abutter we are talking about, I have a long text messages that he was excited about the music and he can't wait. He's going to be up on the stage right on here, okay? So there's more going on in the music. But like I said, we live across the street. I can't honestly see how somebody in Hanson can really hear that, honestly. They might hear a little bit, but I have a son-in-law, he's a state trooper. He works different hours, doesn't keep them up. They live upstairs from us. So just for that, if we're home, we like listening to it. Like I said, when traffic goes by, the traffic drowns out the sound. When people leave there, they're respectful. They don't, so they don't peel out. They're not yelling. They're not swearing. So they're good people. They do a lot for the town. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak for? Thank you.
So my name is Kerry Day.
Hi, Carrie.
I live at Glenwood Road in Pembroke. I've been in town for roughly 24 years. My wife and I have gone to somewhere else roughly 2 times a week, an hour and a half a visit. It equates to roughly, this year it'll be 52 weeks that I've spent there with my wife over the last 24 years. So I'm expecting my first paycheck. The average age of the people that go to somewhere else is between 50 and 53. As far as I know, there's never been a DUI that has originated from Somewhere Else Tavern, nor has there been a DUI from its predecessor. They have a great staff, a mature staff. They do not overserve. There's been no fights in all that time that I've been there. It's an older crowd. The parking there is limited. You're not going to get 100 people there. You're going to get you might get 40 cars for 80 people, max. I know that between me and my 3 neighbors, we have put in over 100 calls to the Pembroke Police Department regarding noise and drinking at other establishments, specifically Little Sandy Pond. I admit I hear the bands 2 times a summer. It depends on which way the wind blows. I also hear other establishments. Mr. Brown, you said that there's no other establishments that have permits, and yet I know, and I can tell you for a fact, that I have heard bands play at other establishments every year, and I hear those more often across the lake than I do from somewhere else. I also hear the 12:15 a.m. train, the last train of the day, every single night. I also hear the 5:12 train every morning. On Saturdays and Sundays, I hear the skydivers that are playing all day, circling above my house. The music from Little Sandy Beach is louder than Somewhere Else Tavern every weekend. The daily round of dirt bikes at Little Sandy is 100 times worse than the music at Somewhere Else. I'd much rather listen to music than two-stroke dirt bikes. Somewhere Else, the bands, they
Come on,
target
there's seats right up front.
people roughly ages between 40 and 90. The Elvis impersonator, Aidan Keene, who plays there, you will not be able to sit down. You will have to get up and dance. He is unbelievable. It's older seniors in their 80s dancing to the music there when that kid plays. I don't know how old he is, 20?
Yeah, it's not that.
Jason hires musicians, not garage bands. There's a huge difference, quality. The music is phenomenal. It's clean fun, 2 times a week. I believe it should be permitted. Somewhere else is all local people. They're not people from out of town. Tonight, my wife and I had dinner tonight, $10 burgers. There were 14 people there that I knew. I suggest you permit it, come watch, have fun. You will not be disappointed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Carrie.
Just, I appreciate you bringing up about the fights and the DUIs and stuff, but that's not what this is about. But since you brought it up, I just want, because we were given information, I just want to understand, there was an incident with a biker group that was there, going around a fence and urinating on people's lawns.
Motorcycles, yeah.
Hearsay, sir. We had a porta potty out back for that particular reason.
Was that,
They'd have to go through the woods to get to the neighbor's yard. That's just hearsay.
this is just information I had, I just wanted to clarify.
He said, she said.
Was
We
that,
did look into it, and we took pictures of the backside to get behind that fence into any sort of a visual sight line. It'd be extremely difficult, and we did document that in case it was an issue that,
was that even related to this outdoor music anyways?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want to speak, sir?
I came by Monday to leave a letter for you in your box Monday morning. And this is from, I'm Robert McMillan. My wife is Lisa McMillan. We live on Woodbine Avenue on Little Sandy Bottom Pond. We've lived on Woodbine Avenue in Bryantville, Pembroke since 2009, 16 years. Up the street from Officer Flanagan, Eddie, across the street from Debbie Wall, next door to Father Jack, rest in peace, and down the street from Arthur and David Boyle. These are all luminaries within Pembroke. We've lived, Lisa and I, in 11 states and the District of Columbia. We have traveled throughout the world. Years ago, when we first moved to town, we went to old school. Yes, a bit rough around the edges. A few years ago, Jason and Lori Cook bought the old bar and brought it to life as the Somewhere Else Tavern. Given our experiences over the years, we understand and appreciate a neighborhood pub, bar, and restaurant that can bring a neighborhood together. We write to you to encourage you, the town, to embrace the Somewhere Else Tavern, and on a nice summer night to allow the tavern to continue, to have a tent outside with music playing to a reasonable hour. Please stop by and have dinner and a beverage with your friends and neighbors and enjoy your time at the Somewhere Else Tavern.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Your letter was included in their
We did read your
materials.
letter,
They've
yes.
seen it, yes.
They're
Thank
not
you.
always, yeah. You guys are busy, so,
Well,
No worries.
we like to hear it from you.
great, thank you.
Thank you. Was there anyone else who wanted to speak? Or, sure, come on up, please.
So I had no intention of speaking at all.
Could you
But listening to this, my name is Ian Murphy.
Thank you.
On Center Street, been in Pembroke about 5 years now. I've spent the past 43 years between Marshfield and Pembroke. I have watched hundreds of name changes across signages on restaurants. I grew up going to Brian's Place. I don't know if you guys remember that, over in Marshfield and Green Harbor. That changed hands 7 times before Mamma Mia's bought it. I watched it be the garlic knot, the Alfredo, the marinara. I watched it become literally everything but Brian's Place. I watched countless restaurants shut down and walk away. I've watched outsiders come into the South Shore, buy them up and throw up chain restaurants, or quasi-chain restaurants that aren't officially chains, but are small independent franchises with personal ownership that actually have no corporate structure. I've watched us beg, bargain, and steal our way out of community. I've been to your place, I think twice in 5 years, I'm not gonna lie. It's not a place I go to often. mostly because I don't match the demographic. However, I will, and I hope there's a place for me to go when I am. And John, to your point,
Yes.
he screwed up. He did. The fact that he's even here owning it, applying for the permit, proves that there's a way forward. I think holding a small business owner in town hostage against previous acts that are admitted ignorance, you know, you didn't know. Knowing is not, you know, exclusion or, ignorance is no excuse for lack of knowledge of the law. But the fact that he's making the effort to do it, I think speaks volume of him. And the fact that we have other community members coming up and speaking on his behalf, I think is also another major role. Me personally, I just want to see small businesses stay. That's it. I don't want to see name changes. I live right by Arrow. Or whatever the hell it's called this weekend. Or whatever distillery or factory or restaurant or bar might end up going in there. I don't want to see it happen to another building in our town. And if this might be able to give them reprieve for 2-3 years to actually see if they can come out the other side of it, I see no reason why we shouldn't. Once we actually permit them, dog them, run them down, check every time. First 6, 8, 12, 10, 30 weeks, they run this deal. A decibel meter, you can get those for $25, $30. You can park somebody across the street, pay them $8 an hour to monitor. And the moment they go over, have them run over and shut it down. But to not give him the chance to do it, I think the fact that he's even here asking for it is all the evidence of character I need. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ian.
And I do appreciate everyone's comments, especially when you're directing at me, because it was good times. I just want to let you know that basically that.
Personal, John, I promise.
No, it's all good. And I said, as long as the people of Pembroke speak up, I'm a happy camper, because at least we're hearing from you. To reiterate, I'm not against outside music. It's the whole thing of basically of past events exactly. Coming to us, that's fine. And moving forward from this would be fine for me too. But I want to make sure that basically, because of certain actions in the past, that these don't happen again, and you will be put on a microscope. If something does happen, then we're going to have to bust you big time and say, why didn't you know this? What's going on? Because we're worried about the whole town of 18,000 some odd people, not just a small area of Bryantville or North Pembroke or wherever it may be near the Kingston line, New England Village folks. We care about it all. We're encompassing it all. So we want to make sure that basically we're good neighbors, good servants to our community. So, like I said, not against outside music, especially in the summertime when it's nice out and all that too. But I want to make sure everyone's clear that our neighbors are just as important.
Did you want to speak, Sabrina?
If you don't mind, as long as I'm not screwing this up for anybody. My name is Sabrina. I live on Four Winds Drive. I'm not here in the moment in my capacity. I like the Cooks and I like Somewhere Else Tavern. They've gone through the zoning board. They've gone through the planning board. They have paid money. They have secured permits. They are doing this for an alteration of premises license for their food and beverage service outside in their seasonal tent. They've done everything correctly. However, if I'm going to be honest and stand up here and say everyone in this room tonight could do us all a favor and share all of this kumbaya with everyone else who complains daily about noise with their neighbor, right now Pembroke does not know what it is. And I'm just telling you that from the inside. We haven't figured out who we are. We have plenty of people who are just like everybody here tonight. I love music. I love being outdoors. I like nice people. I used to have a great quality of life, but then suddenly it becomes, she's doing this, my neighbor's looking at this, I can hear this, I don't like it, and that's okay too. But we have to figure out how to balance this, and I don't envy you this decision. This is going to be tough, because there are a lot of very reasonable arguments being made tonight, and I will assure you on Monday, we will come into phone calls, which, again, we've discussed enforcement and rules. If this is going to be a yes vote, please figure out what those will look like so we can enforce them. We have limited staff, but we will do everything we can to make sure this board, this town, and that business is as successful as possible. So if you can at least garner it in, figure out what day, what time, what's acceptable, what terms are allowed, what isn't allowed, what would cause this to go away, have the tough conversation, and then I'm going to sit back and support everybody in the room, because this is about promoting business and doing what's right for everybody in Pembroke. And yeah, some people aren't going to like it, and some people will like it, and we cannot use who's mad on Facebook as a barometer for what is going on in town. And I'm sorry, but I really would love it if this became something we all discussed openly. Seriously. If it's okay, it's okay. But if it's not, it's not. We gotta figure that out. Sorry.
Thank you. Don't be sorry. I have to say, I know I was very surprised we had all these positive comments. I thought for sure we were getting some negativity for this. Do you have any, just thoughts, do you have any thoughts or suggestions on how, like maybe this is not a year-long permit, or it's 3 months or 6 months or something to that effect, where we can revisit that on how best to check in?
I was gonna say, if you did a window to pick a time, is it gonna be Labor Day? Is it gonna be October? What is it gonna be? What does seasonal even sound like? Pick that start and end date for seasonal permitting. Then figure out, how do you want your check-ins to be? I'd like to see somebody every 90 days, but if we have no complaints, it won't be 90 days. But if we have complaints, I'm gonna need somebody to come in and answer. Hold some accountability, get names, get phone numbers, get times, make a commitment, and then do what feels right.
What is your thought on season?
Come on
And
up.
time.
Jason, come on up. Because the only way this works is if everybody knows the score.
Agreed. Sean, I hadn't given it any thought. Years ago, we've been doing this since COVID, as we all know. It's part of the argument tonight. God, I can remember one year we had a Super Bowl party underneath the tent. Raffled off a huge TV. Everybody had a blast. That's pushing the envelope. I've lost quite a few tents, many tents, because during COVID and whatnot, the storms took them out. I mean, I lost 4 or 5. A lot of money.
Yeah.
I owned a tent company. It was easy for me to replace them, but still, it's a kick in the financial butt. I would, Halloween's always popular outside for an outside party.
Close it down on Halloween.
Excuse me?
Close it down on Halloween.
Halloween.
November 1st is the end.
November 1st is the end. I would be ever so grateful for that
Well, I
date.
just mean, like, be definitive, just,
Weekend after Thanksgiving, homecoming.
Carrie, it's too cold.
Get it inside, Kerry.
I would, we don't need to, we're gonna be under the microphone. I'd be grateful if that we're even discussing this as positive and negative. To go to November 1st with playing precisely by the rules and hopefully having no hurdles. I'm sure we're gonna have a few, let's be real. But November 1st that would be great with us.
Starting when?
And beginning when?
Tomorrow,
No, I mean
That's not
annually.
annually?
Annually,
We'd
what are
like
you
to
looking
do
for? May 15?
Yeah, so we can get Memorial Day in. Yeah, May 15th would be great.
May 15 to November 1 sets a window of time. And the hours are 6:30 to 9:30.
Yes, that's
Meaning
fine.
at 9:30, everything's unplugged.
Hard stop.
Yes.
But that might have to change because of, as we go through the fall, it gets darker. So even though
Right.
you have lights and all that too, I don't know, and
We do.
the weather's gonna
Right.
change
Yeah.
on you too.
Well,
So
yeah,
you're-
but not before November 1st. You're gonna be coming right up against it, and it's only on a Friday and Saturday night.
All right, if Halloween's rainy and whatever else,
Yeah.
I'm blaming
Sorry,
you.
you're right, I apologize.
So, I mean,
What-
that's, I just wanna make sure that basically there's enough light for if there
We
is.
have, as you know, John, I have a tent rental company. We do tents into the winter time for outside people. I'll have to abide by Deputy John Shea's rules and the building department rules. I do have a big, huge, real heater, not some of the ones that I pushed the envelope with, okay?
He says it's real.
John? Yeah, we'll see. Okay, right. Okay, John. So, if it gets unseasonably cold and nobody wants to play outside, we pull the plug. If you folks would feel better about a shorter window of opportunity, just for me to have a window of opportunity would be fantastic. So if you felt better, John, if we shut it down, after, say, October 1st, we can try that.
Well, you had November
But I'd
1st.
rather,
I know.
oh,
Don't go backwards.
All right, November 1st, yeah, we don't need to go any further than that.
All right.
Stick with what you have.
All right, and then my last question is, should anything arise, who's the contact?
I'm sorry, Mr. Brown?
If there's a problem, who's the contact? Is it? I'm going to need all of your information.
Okay,
All right, we're going to have to become best friends. All right.
hopefully.
If this were something to be considered, we would need a relationship where we could go back and forth.
I had no problem coming in and doing
No, I just, again, we can't, I won't subject neighbors to something that's unpleasant, and you guys have Mayflower Court right there. Those are people who don't have choices.
Correct.
So if you guys are attentive to it, and we share that information and you resolve it, it's now a situation where you make a decision that at least can be enforced.
Right, because this has all been very positive, but I mean, truth be told, we did receive a lot of calls and emails that were negative, and they just obviously are not here tonight.
Understood.
And so we're just considering that as well. And again, this is, we don't have this license in any restaurant in town, so this is a first, so we just kind of have to figure out how we could best do that and respect our neighbors as well. I like this, I think I feel more comfortable, again, and again, having a contact for when we have these complaints, you obviously should,
Mike
coming in.
manages the hitching groves for us, and
Yeah.
somewhere else haven't, so he's been in the business quite a few years. He's a knowledgeable and a respectable person. He takes good care of us.
No, that's good.
That's how it'll be.
And I'll coordinate that
Trusted
with the
person.
deputy chief next door,
Okay.
so we
I've
can,
worked similar programs also. Plymouth.
Mhm.
Yeah, issues with that.
I got you.
Brothers.
So,
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys wanted to discuss anything else, so I'm prepared to make a motion.
Does anybody have any other questions or comments before anything else?
My only
Sean?
question is if, I'm not expecting this, but it does present to be a problem. We do have recourse, right?
We can
Yes.
revoke.
Skip
This
Pull
is
it.
a-
Statute
And suspend.
allows you to revoke.
yes, but
Yep.
you'd schedule a hearing to
Yep.
discuss suspension or,
Okay.
That was what I was going to state before I stated a motion, is we do reserve the right, of course, to approve, deny, revoke, or suspend. So this is a good trial for
Oh.
everyone.
and if you wanted, do you want to set, I'm sorry,
I'm
this
gonna
is going
set
to
the,
drag you in one more time,
One
but
second.
do you want to set up a check-in? Do you want to have a moment
Yes.
in, say, one of the August meetings, where
think
you
that would be a
ask
great
Mr.
idea.
Cook to come back?
Sure.
You
that's
can
good.
share
Not a problem.
feedback back and
Why
forth.
wait to have a complaint?
That's my ideas back and
Mid-season,
forth.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mid-season, that way
Sure.
between May and November 1st, August is good. I'll talk to you, Mike, about what day that will be.
Sure.
And that way you get a face-to-face check-in.
And we
in
can
the
review
course of it.
anything.
Right.
And if there's nothing to review, maybe we're not meeting.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
You have a smooth sail, there's no reason.
I hate to ask this question.
Please do.
Um,
Are you sure you don't want us to make the motion first?
Where's the line gonna be drawn? Say we have 2 noise complaints. Does that float? Well, if we have
No, no, no.
12, that's a problem.
No, I was going to say, I'll be working with Mike on any individual
Okay.
issues. If you have a chronic or a severe,
Right.
then you've got a problem. No,
Okay.
he's fine, he's doing fine. Yeah, no, seriously, because again, on any given night, a baby's colicky, somebody's upset, or maybe the wind is blowing, who knows? So yes, I'm going to count on Mike to help remediate individual complaints. If you have a chronic or a severe complaint, that would be something that would generate a follow-up, and we'll make an appointment for that. You're not going to suddenly see some kind of,
Thank you, yeah.
is that okay?
Yeah, that relationship is going to be very important. That could snuff out any problems.
Yep.
So are you going to make the motion?
Yeah, I'll make a
Maybe
motion.
add the dates?
Yeah, I'm going to add the dates. I'll make a motion to grant the application of Jason and Laurie Cook of Somewhere Else Tavern, located at 65 School Street, for outdoor live entertainment license for a live band on Fridays and Saturdays from 6:30 to 9:30 through the dates of May 15th to November 1st, with a mid check-in, with an August
August
check-in.
Sure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
I'll send you a follow-up tomorrow just to say Mike, nice to meet you.
All right, board action items. Discussion and vote to raise the MUF solid waste fees. Oh, just wanna let people exit.
Okay, so now we know why people are here.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was a lot of it. I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised that, I mean, I guess it's not comfortable to necessarily come out and complain face to face, so.
The people that called were not comfortable confronting him face to face.
No.
It was,
Well, that's understandable.
You want to take a brief break while we...
While they exit, sure. Why not?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know what? MUF solid waste funds, fees. Thank you. All right. Bill, do you want to share a little bit about this?
sure. So, like everything else, costs are going up. One of the things I want to point out for us in Pembroke is that many of our neighbors don't even offer a trash service per se.
Not in there, just louder.
Yeah, I know, it's not. So what I'm saying is many of our neighbors don't even offer trash service. We do curbside pickup, we do bulk pickup twice a year, 20 bags. We do a significant amount of other service related to the trash. If you had to contract for those services, and we have the recycle center and the hazardous waste day, and you can participate free of charge in hazardous waste days across the county. If you were to have to pay for that independently, it would be 2 or 3 times the cost that residents are currently paying for this service. It is an absolute bargain. I know I pay 2 times this for my trash service. I don't live within the town of Pembroke. I have tremendous municipal service, and I get no free 20 bags twice a year. I pay $100 for 2 bags if I put out extra stuff or bulk pickup type of stuff. So this is a bargain. I know it's a large increase. It is driven 100% by the costs of tipping contracts and pickup contracts. One item I want to absolutely address is starting on July 7th. We are going to have an audit of our recycling. So please be very, very, very careful what you put in your recycling bins. When I arrived in the town of Pembroke, we were over 25% contamination in our recycling, and our costs were skyrocketing. We are now at 13%. We've brought it way down. We need to keep it down. So look at what you're supposed to put in recycling, and only put what's supposed to be in recycling, because we can reduce those costs even further.
When is that brought up?
Yeah, exactly. If you didn't hear what she said, when in doubt, throw it out. Don't put it in recycling. We want you to recycle because that's a benefit and certainly a cost saver to the town.
But the contamination.
But the contamination fees are brutal. If we can get that below 10%, we can reduce this number. We need to
You
work.
said we're at 13?
We're at 13 right now. And we've gone from 25 to 13 in 4 years. So that's a really good drop. It's dropped almost in half.
Would you be willing to give the recycling committee a shout out for their education?
Yeah, I want to thank the recycling committee. They're doing a tremendous job. They're doing educational shout outs to residents. They help us to get the message out there, and just a tremendous job. They're actually meeting tonight, right now. So, if you get a chance, thank them. They do a remarkable job.
They did a whole overhaul on that committee.
Yeah,
and
it's
their
outstanding.
Information.
They're cooking.
It is absolutely outstanding.
Are they
And
building
there's
on the
this-
website or the
Oh.
page or something right now?
Yes, they want to revamp it.
I
They
see
worked
that
with a
there.
Pathways student, but Bill will get into in the July meetings
Yep.
what the plans are for the website
Right.
and how that will change.
Right.
But they took over the composting and sustainable gardening piece, which I didn't even realize how crucial that would be. But it was something we were missing in our portfolio. And when we went to apply for the annual retract grant with Mass DEP, we lost specific points that we were always able to get because they're changing and the criteria is forever climbing, right? So to chase the points to get the grant, you have to do more every year. And they brought us home with points because of the composting series that they did and what they held
They're
at the
amazing.
library and the work that they did. It was very cool.
Nicole came out, Nicole Leidig, she's on the committee, she came out to our cleanup day and had a table and gave out all sorts of information, and people just loved her. She was phenomenal. Yeah, they've done a great job.
So,
Karen,
questions if
sorry.
you want.
Go ahead, Lee.
Is there like a biggest offender in terms of that we could help knock off?
So just there is
Plastic bags!
Plastic bags are huge because if plastic bags in there and they don't catch them, it actually causes a shutdown of if you've ever seen how the MRF works.
And I'll tell you right now, Waste Management does not think we're very funny if what jammed up their equipment came from Pembroke.
Yeah. I mean, what happens when a plastic bag goes through those assembly lines, it twists into like a rope, and then it catches and it stops the automated system. And
Then you smell the burning.
Yeah, and they're
There's only
not
oils
real
burning.
happy about that. So don't put plastic bags in your recycle bin. I know a lot of people throw their recycling. My dad, and I fight with him all the time, puts his recycling all week in a plastic bag and then dumps the plastic bag full of recyclables in this. I said, Dad, you're ruining the system. So please don't put plastic bags. The joke is when we did the tour, don't put a bowling ball. There was a bowling ball that day that we saw.
Urns.
An urn. There was actually an
Yep.
urn. Someone's urn.
Company's full of trash?
Obviously, there was a divorce there, and somebody left the urn behind.
No, but I think when in doubt, people are literally saying, but I want to be a good person. I want to recycle. So I'll just put it in there. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's something that's similar to something I would recycle. And that's the sort of questionable item that's jamming us up. I wasn't trying to be flip when I said when in doubt, throw it out. It's good
Yeah.
practice. If you don't know and you're going, "Ugh, it could go either way, then don't put it in there, please. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Bill.
So,
Excuse me. Is anyone auditing these drivers? Because last year, my wife and I had a back and forth with them repeatedly.
So-
Because it was either the recycling truck picking up all 5 of our barrels, because I'm in a duplex.
So we
or
do-
the trash truck picking up all 5.
Yeah.
No,
And they were putting
that
out
up.
general
Question.
garbage in the recycling truck
Yeah,
as
so-
they drove away.
so the question was, what if the driver is picking up both recycling and trash? It should not happen on a regular basis. There are days where it does happen. If a truck goes down, they're trying to complete the route, they will pick up both, but it doesn't go to the recycle, it goes to the trash. So, we're not paying.
That doesn't impact your recycling rate. It goes
Correct.
literally, what they're doing is taking away all your good effort at recycling by putting it in trash.
1 in 8 barrels are
Right.
bad.
It's the-
Seems a bit wonky.
So, but that-
my distrust of the waste management industry.
But that doesn't end up at our recycle center, it ends up at our,
But we're saying 1 in 8 do end up at recycling because
we're seeing right now today, 13%.
13%, 1 in 8. Actually, that's
And
closer
by the way,
to
there have been
15.
storms, there have been other notifications where they will call us and say, do you want us to abandon it in place to blow down the street, or do you want us to just grab everything? And there have been the 1 or 2 times in 15 years that we've said, get it off the street. So
And-
on
and-
occasion, now granted, that should not be your normal thing. That should not happen regularly.
It does, but those do not go to the recycle center in Avon, those go to the trash tipping in New Bedford.
And to your point, the biggest complaint I actually had was in your area of Bryanville.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing on
It's
that
a
Friday
Friday
pickup.
Yeah.
It's usually, sometimes they pick up both. They've only done that once to my place,
Yeah.
but overall, they've been pretty good.
See, we're on Mondays, and we're the last stop for recycling and the first stop for trash, which I think is swapped now. Now we're the first stop for recycling and the last stop for trash.
And you bought a house at the end of the National Grid line? You're not betting.
Yeah. And so we've had a trash pickup both, we've had recycling pickup both, and we got into it with them last year because we spent the time, we have the duplex, and so we have our tenants that are actually doing it, we're doing it, we pay for an extra barrel.
So
and so-
if they're doing it, make sure you do call so that we can at least document that it happened. It should not be happening every week for sure, but there are times when it does.
When was the last time we increased fees?
We did them last year.
Okay. And how much by, do you remember?
Yeah, it was a modest increase last year.
$30.
I think it was like $385 to $400.
$30. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
Can I just ask, what is the
Wanna come on
proposed
up?
rate?
Or I can bring it to you, either way.
No,
They
I-
can't hear you at home, so it just sounds
Trish
like.
Hansen, do you know how much the proposed increase is for this year after the evaluation?
We won't.
We won't know, okay, because I remember last year when I got notice about the, the verifying, the audit, if you will, and I sent you a letter.
So
I sent you a letter asking, because then I got a notice that now my charge for trash is going up to $400 a year.
yeah, so it won't go up again.
Right, but I'm saying, I wrote a letter just asking that, because I was looking on the website, because I like to look at the Pembroke Community website to get information.
Thank you.
And I couldn't find, and it's great, and I couldn't find the audit results, and I wanted to know that, so I wrote a letter to you, and I emailed it to you, and I never heard back.
I don't recall getting
Yeah,
it.
I
Because I'm
never
pretty
I've
up.
never seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
pretty
that's what
upset.
I wanted. I wanted
Yeah.
justification for the increase.
They do send them once a year. And we probably won't see the results until around the 1st of September.
Okay, yeah, but I was just curious because I like to find the data to verify, the necessity for it. But $30 was a lot for me, because prior to that, it was an increase 2 years before that, and it's creeping up, and it's becoming.
It's a direct result of our cost increases.
And I'm just a single. I've got 2 bags a month, 2 bags a week.
And I think one of the things that needs a further discussion that won't happen tonight,
Right.
it just isn't
I
time for it,
understand, but I just
is
wanted to-
eliminating some of the services. Maybe we should stop paying for pickup at the curb for furniture or 20 bags of trash.
Oh.
Maybe we could make reductions in some areas, but those are things that Pembroke really has always, again, we have so much open space and so much water in this town. We try to keep trash and garbage off the streets.
Yeah.
And if we
No,
don't provide a mechanism to get it off, we're more concerned about littering and abandonment. So it's
Understood.
a balance.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. I was just wanting to know what the audit
When
results were
when
last
we
year
get
and
it,
how
I
we can
will
determine
announce
that.
it here, and we will post it on the website.
Okay, thank you.
That was my question.
Do you have a notify me? Because we could make it a news story and then you can have an email.
You'll get it
I do,
automatically.
thank you. Yeah.
So we've not posted the results on the website in the past.
I thought I found it there.
I don't have them, so I didn't post them. It's possible that Angela did, but I,
I think they're there. I think I found it there when I was looking at his phrase.
Well, moving forward. I think
We'll absolutely do it. You'll
Okay.
be hearing some information about
hey, if
that.
people are excited about this information, let's give it to them.
Yeah.
Well, I like
That's
that.
awesome. Thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions? Anything else?
No, the only thing of seeing our trash fees going up, and I bring this up all the time when we have done this in the past, it is going to be $8.46 a week for trash and recycling. That's for the usual pickup. Now, you know that basically seniors and those who basically can get money off their trash bill for at least pickup, but we all pay for the recycling center. They'll probably get half of that, so it'd be $220 for them for the full year, correct? Anyone over 70, I believe? Okay. So anyone who's eligible for that, that would be your cost for this. And right now, for the regular trash pickup, recycle pickup, looks like it's going to be $440. Like I said, $8.46 a week for 52 weeks. That's a great deal, and actually on the South Shore, we're doing pretty good. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes, we are, actually. It may be a gross cost, but it's comparatively low.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else?
Are you looking for a motion on this?
I believe
Yeah, you need to
so.
set the rate, so.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to raise the annual, currently $400 fee by $40 to the annual cost of a total of $440, billed semi-annually at 2/20 July 1st and 2/20 January 1st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, vote to approve May 7th, 2025 minutes.
Motion to approve May 7th, 2025 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sean, you just have to recuse yourself because you weren't there.
Oh, okay.
You can just
Abstain.
Just skip it, abstain, that's what I meant. Alrighty. Vote special municipal employees is next. Does anybody have any questions about any of these? When we make the motion, we need to list each individually, correct?
Or as printed.
You could,
just
We
say
don't have to
as
list
listed.
them?
you could read them out if you wanted
Alrighty.
to. We don't publish them on the agenda the way we do renewals and
Yep.
appointments, but it's been the same list. 2021 was the first time there was a change in 8 years, and that was to add the certified general appraiser.
Okay. If there's no questions, I will take a motion.
I'll make a motion to assign the designation of special municipal employee status to the list as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we need to vote annual reappointments. Do you not have a separate thing for this? I guess not. Does anybody have any questions or comments about any individuals? Any individual reappointments? No?
Just want to make sure all my council and aging folks are there, so.
Okay, my paper's
Well,
missing,
actually,
so I'm just gonna
do we
rely
have to
on you.
change that for senior services now, since that's what they're called?
Nah, it's
Doesn't matter? Okay.
Can I see that for a second?
No, I was going to say the board remains the Council on Aging Board.
It's a statutory.
The department is the Department of Senior Services,
Gotcha.
separating that administration from elected or appointed
Okay.
official.
Thank you.
Trying to get
Sorry.
them used to saying senior services.
There's no questions? I'll take a motion.
I'll move to reappoint the slate of interested candidates as listed in the public agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, next up, Town Manager's Report, Municipal Aggregation Update.
Yeah, so I want to bring very good news to our residents. As I told the board we were doing, we went out to bid and were able to negotiate a new rate starting November 1st of $1,399 per kilowatt hour, which is a drop, a decrease, something we don't see every day in this world, a decrease from 1,475 cents per kilowatt hour. That actually is even better when we look at the projection on the current National Grid rates, and where the National Grid has filed for their rates to be in 6 months, and the projection for the National Grid rates over the next 3 years. We are going to be saving the residents a substantial amount. In fact, we saved $1.4 million over the last year. We're going to be saving the residents, the aggregate, another over $800,000 in electricity costs as a result of the town doing municipal aggregation. So just wanted to announce that, the new rate, $1,399. If you check your bill and you're not getting your power through our aggregation, or you have questions about it, come and talk to us, because there is a significant difference between what National Grid charges for supply, not distribution. They are our distribution company for 99.9% of our town. We do have a few residents on the Marshfield border that are delivered by Eversource, but it is a huge savings. So make sure you're part of the town's aggregated supply, so you're getting this 13.99 rate. If you check and your supply rate today is $14.75, then you are likely on the town's aggregation. If your supply rate's 16 or above, you're probably not on the town's aggregation. So make sure you check that. It's very important.
And for how many years is this going to happen?
We did, because we got such a great rate, and this rate was lower than the 1- and 2-year rates, we signed up for 3 years.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. And we also have an ARPA update.
yeah, so I wanted to just talk about this real quick. I know there's been some questions about it.
A lot of questions. And we have Mr. Buckley here as well, if we have any questions for
Yep.
him.
So, and I talked to Matt Hanley at the county,
Greg?
just to ask, Matt.
Oh, Matt,
Matt. It's Greg's brother. He
Oh.
he works for the county.
thank you.
So, I talked to him, and basically, I'll explain their process. The deadline for the ARPA funds was December 31st of 2024. The county set a deadline for us to apply of October 24th. We did put our applications in by October 24th. Unfortunately, when the county was doing their review, they wanted to see contracts and bidding done. We use in the town of Pembroke consultant engineers. We do not have engineers on staff. Those projects got delayed slightly. As a result of that, the county canceled those projects. And I'm a little frustrated I'm a little frustrated entirely, but definitely frustrated with some of the information flow. The county did a really good job back and forth, and Mike did a tremendous job making sure these things went forward. And we actually put, if you see some of the spreadsheets that are out there, we actually put additional projects in so that we had an opportunity, because we knew that had the potential of happening. Unfortunately, they just didn't go forward. So the county did, Matt confirmed it, the county did cancel those programs for us, those projects, not the project, the ARPA grant application is what they canceled. So
they were looking for shovel-ready projects?
more than shovel-ready projects, they were looking for projects that were out there on the street and bid.
Oh.
So,
Well, the
Which is
first-
a long process.
I mean, our projects were shovel-ready. We were this close to, being there. It's different circumstances, different things happen. Approvals, permitting, the one well issue with all of that. Unfortunately, we didn't have I have a colleague who says, always be nimble as a manager. We couldn't be nimble. We were locked into these projects after October 24th. So we couldn't put it in, if this thing slips out, we had no flexibility to add additional projects after that time frame. So
there was originally a number that was floating around that said 880,000.
No.
And can you just explain why that it wasn't 880 first?
because we had
495?
asked for more than our allocation. Our allocation was 3.25 million. We asked for 3.6. If you read the county's documentation, it says that, let me just find, because I think I quoted it here in my notes. Communities were allowed to submit multiple applications. However, the towns cannot exceed their allocated amount. So our allocation was 3.2.
Right, and so that was why it was not 880, it was 495 is what
Correct.
the amount was.
Yep.
So have you spoken to any of the other towns and asked about
So
why
I-
that happened to them as well? I know
I've,
Hanover had
I've,
the same.
Hanover had the exact same issue.
But is this exactly the same reason?
Yep.
Is it because they had projects in that went in so
Yep.
late that,
Our projects weren't all in late.
well, last minute, I mean, 10/24, you said 10, right? October?
10/24 is what the
Was-
deadline was,
Right.
but, I mean, one of the projects that was canceled was in,
So
in-
do you
in
know
the
when these were
spring.
submitted?
2 were in October, and the other one was the spring, Mike, do you remember? Yeah. Okay, I think it was springtime on the well number 4. Summer or spring.
It's the spring before October. Like, that's well in advance.
So, yeah, but if the project wasn't bid and signed, and because of the permitting and other stuff that went on, we had no opportunity to get there.
So we put one project in that we thought might work out,
Mhm.
and then kind of realized that that wasn't going to probably be approved, and so then the next two were submitted. And those were the two that were canceled.
Well, all three were canceled.
Well, we
in the
knew,
end.
we expected.
We
the first
expected
to,
one to be
But
canceled.
the last two were the
Yeah.
canceled ones, and those are the ones that equal the 495.
Correct.
That's where that number comes from.
Mhm.
And so this wasn't any sort of documentation error, nothing we didn't turn in, something we didn't
I,
submit?
when I spoke to Matt, I said, what happened? And he did not indicate that was the case. So, I mean,
What exactly did they need
there
for
were
us to
no,
approve
there
it?
were no documentation errors. What we could not provide was the bid date and signed contracts because it hadn't been done.
So that alone is what caused them to cancel it. And when they cancel things like this, do they send the information to you, or do they send it to you?
So that's my
Where does that
frustration.
go?
Yeah, they send an email.
So
But-
you got an email saying that they were canceled?
Yeah, we couldn't produce documentation that didn't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did they cancel them though? I think that's the
Yeah,
big question.
I don't remember what the exact date was. And, I can ask. It's, I looked in the database.
Well, I mean,
It's
it
not-
has to be in somebody's email.
It's not there. It's not, it's
Nobody
not,
has an
it's
email
not,
saying they were
well, it
canceled?
might be an email. I couldn't find an email. I looked through all the emails. So,
I'm just curious when they notified us that these things were canceled.
I will find that out for you.
And would it be possible that they would have been canceled early enough that we could have done anything about it?
Well,
or
once
done
October
something else?
24th hit, you can't put, you could not submit another
Well,
application.
that's why I was wondering if they
Yeah.
canceled before that.
No, they
No,
weren't, no.
it was after.
Absolutely not. No, it was late, moving into probably December, I think, but I cannot give you an exact.
I just know there's so much chatter on Facebook worrying about that we left money on the table, and that's a lot of money to leave on the table.
You know,
wanna
and
make sure that
I
they
have
realize.
spent a significant amount of time going through this and looking at all the detail. I went through their database and combed all the information I could possibly comb. It reflects cancel, but it doesn't say when or by whom.
Well, Plymouth County.
Well, Plymouth County, when I talked to Matt Hanley, he said, yes, they canceled.
Right. Would you be able to locate the date?
I can try to find that, yeah.
And it must be an email or something somewhere?
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine they just cancel these things and don't share that with anybody.
I agree.
Somewhere there has to be something. Were the other towns the same? I know you said Hanover was. I know,
So
like,
I can't
Lakeshore and-
recall what, I talked to two town managers. Hanover was the exact same situation. They had a school project that did not go forward. They had it in for opera funding, and that project got canceled.
Right.
So, and that was, unfortunately for them. I talked to Joe, and that was well over $1 million.
That was a good amount of money.
Yeah, it was the bulk of their funding, I think. Yeah, they're frustrated, but as are we.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So,
Sorry, does anybody have any other questions? Anything? Any questions?
I'll get you that. I'll get that date.
I would love that.
And if I can't get it, I will call and ask for
But
it.
the process, would go to Mike or would it go to you?
It should go to both of us, but a lot of the stuff went to Mike and some of the stuff went to me. You know, it's,
Okay.
I know I combed my emails and went through them all to try to define.
I just figured there would be a point person.
Yeah, well, Matt Hanley is the point person.
No, here.
Yeah, well, Mike
Which
did
I
a
thought
lot
was
of,
Mike.
Mike did the bulk of the work. I had to review and approve them. But I want to give Mike accolades, and as did Matt. When I talked to Matt, he said Mike did, a tremendous job in responding to things. I mean, they had to fight with other cities and towns for days and weeks, and Mike even on vacation, Matt's quote, Mike even responded when he was on vacation, so
Well, thank you.
didn't
Thank
get
you,
us,
Mike.
so. But I just want to, give accolades where they're due.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to ask? I'm sorry we held you up all night. I thought we might end up
okay.
having questions
It
for
was
you, so I was
entertaining.
hoping to have you here just in case. Sorry, did you want to say something?
No, you said it was entertaining.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Did you have a question about ARPA?
Yeah, what projects
you wanna
were
come
you
on up?
hoping to submit?
So they were all water, yeah, so she asked, the question was, she asked what projects were we hoping? We had submitted all water projects, well number 4, and water main projects. We did, just to note, we did get significant funding from the county, and we paid for a huge bulk of water projects from that. I guess in retrospect, I probably would have done it differently, where we controlled the process a little bit more and didn't have to rely on consultant engineers and outside folks where we controlled it in-house. Unfortunately, that's a bad lesson learned.
Just a question, if I might. As I understand it, like, other towns got the full amount. Was that because they chose projects differently or their needs were different? I know you're not answerable for them, but we chose something that might be longer term, more intense, because I know Hanson, they've got bragging rights on this thing, as you know, so they're going all over the place, select board, whatever. We got all of our money. We got it done.
Yeah, I can't speak for Hanson. I do know that some other towns took a very different approach to it. That, you know, one of the allowable items was to fund bonuses for staff. I did not do that.
He did not. In case anybody wanted to know.
I just felt it, you know, it did, for me to give someone a bonus, did not help the resident, help reduce, it was allowable ARPA funding. And some seasoned towns did that.
And that's not.
Well, what I'm saying is without judgment, I'm just wondering, some towns, by the way they approached it or whatever, got their full funding. We did not. And was that because we had different choices we were making, or they just happened to fall into a sweet spot? Or,
Yeah, it's different. There's so many. There's over 20 communities and I haven't spoken to them. And to be honest, Don, I haven't looked at what most other towns. I did look at the ones that did not get their full funding, and some of the colleagues that I know pretty well that I talk to on a regular basis, I asked them about what they did, and that's how I know that towns made different choices on how to spend the money. I was trying to create a situation where we were saving the ratepayers and the taxpayers the biggest amount of money. And I think we accomplished that for the most part. Unfortunately, we left money on the table. That's the bad part of that. So.
Anything else? Did you want?
You said something about that. Your towns could only get their allocated money, but maybe I misheard that other towns did get additional extra, the bonus projects funded. So,
One.
okay. But I'm saying, so there's still some of the money that we got, that's might have gone somewhere else. And that was the hope that you get some additional projects.
Or went to the county. The county did allocate some of that to the county, and to whatever I forget how they termed it. Their regional programs. So they did some regional programs at some of the hospitals and some of the other things that got additional funding. So yes.
So we weren't only allowed to allocate, that's why you put an additional amount potential.
We tried.
For hope.
We tried. I mean, if we could have gotten more, we would have certainly taken more.
Right. And don't forget, Eileen, that during CARES Act, we actually got more, because other towns did not.
We absolutely
want it.
killed, we were the exact opposite of the CARES
Exactly.
Act. We
So-
managed things very differently
a balance.
under the CARES program,
Just trying to
so,
understand the concept.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, CARES was 2.9 million, I think.
Yeah, we did, very well with CARES. So.
Anything else? All right, well then, thank you. Thank you for waiting, Mike.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Do we have any liaison updates tonight? Do we have any old business?
I have one item. As we went over the draft for the Pembroke public comment policy, the only thing that I changed was in the beginning, so everything else is pretty much the same, and the only thing that was added for the, so the people at home understand this, at the direction of the chair of the select board, the chair will or will not allow time for public comment during bi-weekly meetings. And then it goes on for everything else, what we're allowed under open meeting law. And I'm hoping to put this on the agenda for next time.
Okay.
It doesn't really have to be next week, but sooner than later, so we can discuss it and vote upon it to see if it's going to be our public policy going forward.
Okay.
July 9th?
July 9th.
Done.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you, John. Was there something else?
That's it for me.
Oh, anybody else have anything old business? Real quick question under community comment. Can someone go on the website and sign up for the aggregation?
Not with us. The information
they-
to sign up with it is there.
But there's a link or something there?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
On the Power Group.
Yep.
Say that one more time?
I don't recall the exact address, but on
Okay.
the website,
Yep.
there is a flyout page about
I do
this is the
remember
rate,
this
this
from
is
last
how you
year.
sign up, and you can sign up at this link or this 1-800 telephone number.
Okay.
And it's a Colonial Power Group /Pembroke /something, like,
I just wanted to know if there was something
no
that I
worries.
could point to on the
I'll have
website.
it for you at the next meeting, and you'll just be.
Nope,
able
somebody
to
just
use it.
asked if they, because they didn't understand how to get to it.
Please do that. I did have a couple other items, if that's okay.
Please.
I wanted to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Jump
Nope,
ahead.
it's okay. I wanted to point out that we are aggressively going after grants, and we just were awarded 2 that I'm really happy about. I want to thank the fire department for bringing one to me, and that's the fiber optic grant. We have been awarded a $250,000 grant to upgrade our fiber optic system throughout the town. We are working with the schools and piggybacking with the existing fiber that's out there to bring fiber optics to all of our municipal buildings, specifically the new fire station and fire department operations and the towers where the fire department's used for police and fire. I'm talking fire, but I meant public safety used for communications. It will improve reliability at the school buildings and improve reliability for our water system, the SCADA system, which is supervisory control and data acquisition, that monitors all of our wells, all of our water levels within our towers. I'm super excited about that. It will really improve reliability throughout the town. And the second one is I want to thank the water department for this one, and that is, we talked about this at town meeting. I didn't expect to see it so quickly, but there was that $150,000, that program there. We have been awarded that also. So.
What is that one called? Do you know?
That is the SRF.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah,
I
it's,
should-
yeah. It is a program that where you fund part of it and they give you funding, but it's not 100% grant, but it's 0% interest also. So anything we borrow, we'll be borrowing it, no interest cost. Super excited about both of those. Hopefully, we've applied for a whole bunch of grants. Hopefully, I'll have some more information at future meetings.
Did you say the fiber optics are existing?
We have an existing fiber optics
Oh, we
loop.
don't have anything. The school
The school department does, but this will add to the school department's reliability, but it will also put fiber optics all over town, from our tower on Oak Street to the new public safety building that's going to be on Washington at Barker, to the new Monroe Street Fire Station, to our Swanberg wells, to our wells that are going, wells 2 and 3, which have the new water treatment plant upgrades. That will potentially reduce that cost because the communications and the fiber will be right there, and all of the schools.
So they're gonna run the lines,
Mhm.
and it's up to us to tap into those lines?
So the lines will be, the fiber will be brought through the town, to all the buildings, except buildings that don't have them. Well, even it will be brought, some will be brought to buildings that do, because some don't have adequate fiber today to support the new technology demands throughout the community. And then they'll turn it on. We will have to monitor that after that time frame.
We're responsible for putting it
Mhm.
together, okay?
Yep.
Do we have any costs on that?
I don't at this point, but it's not substantial because it's an INET system. So I don't know if you know what that means, but it's basically a town-owned fiber that connects to the net, the internet. So.
And back in the early 2000s, the school department wound up getting a program, a government-operated program, where they were able to run fiber between their buildings. And over the years, every chance they've had to let us get involved in it when we have money, here at Town Hall, through the cable station, in the back room recording us right now, any chance they've let us come in, the school department has. But to Bill's point, that's pretty old tech, and they have much greater needs. So you've heard about slowdowns at the school, voice over IP phones that may have trouble. So this is hopefully going to help everybody.
Yeah, and I want to thank, again, the fire department and the superintendent for the superintendent for allowing us to connect to their existing network and the fire department for the work that they've done, working with the vendor to get that application in and making sure that that application, it was quick. I mean, the turnaround, I was really, really pleased.
We'll see something in the next year? Or what's the
Yeah,
timeline?
I mean, we should, we'll have a small appropriation to do some of the individual work that isn't covered by the grant at the fall town meeting, but yeah, within a year, we should be able to see, light these, yeah, light these things up. So, yeah, super excited about it.
We talked about having a grant report.
Yep, we're working
Will
it.
you do that before the end of the fiscal year?
I am-
It'd be a nice time to do it.
I'm working it with the details. I'm going to actually roll out a plan of some things to you later, so.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else?
I do not,
Thank you.
sorry.
Well, that's good news. That was old business. Does anybody else have any old business? No? Does anybody from the board have any community comment? Do any of our guests have community comment?
Ooh,
Well, sure.
do you mind?
Does Sabrina have
It
community
has not
comment?
yet been said, so I just wanted to throw it out there.
Please.
The word's getting around very quickly about the very popular no solicitation list that's
I
available in the
know.
town of Pembroke. And before, 30 days ago, you guys approved 2 on May 7th because they came before you and they were appropriate and they've done their paperwork and their checks and so forth. So it is what that is, right? But since May 7th to today, we picked up 65 new addresses when we only had a list since 2017 that had 168
Oh,
addresses.
interesting.
So it's a 39% pickup, which is pretty impressive. And you can get the forms online in the selectman's office, or we will help you if you call. Yes, so
That's
thank
happened
you.
quite often, actually.
It's kind of a big moment. I figured somebody would step on it. Nobody's
I
talking
forgot
about
to,
it.
so I can't believe there were that many added.
Yeah, 65. Angela and I have been running.
She'll be broken today.
Great. Does anybody else have anything?
Thank you, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So what's wrong?
Nothing,
Oh.
we're good?
Under upcoming issues, we do have June 18th still on here. I just want to remind everybody that that meeting has been canceled. So our next meeting will be July 9th.
Correct. You have a special meeting on June 11th for 3 items. And
Right, of
then you
course.
have your next meeting July 9th, yes ma'am.
Jim, did you have something? I just thought that maybe you were
Nope.
waiting for something.
Oh, no, I was
Okay.
here in case it was questions about
Just
public
perfect.
hearing.
So then, annual board committee and commission member renewals will be bumped to July 9th with fire chief awards. And then August 6th, vote to open, God, I can't believe it's that time already. August 6th, vote to open warrant for special town meeting August 11th, close August 15th.
I was going to say, ma'am, I believe you're going to have a couple of reappointments
On
on
the
the 18th, on the 11th for the advisory committee. Mr. Dodge has provided written
On June
confirmation.
11th.
On June 11th, yes.
Advisory only?
Advisory, only. That's a joint appointment, so it requires something a little
Right,
special.
right. Do we have any for executive session tonight?
We do.
Do we need to go back?
No.
We need to go back. Clearage.
Executive session pursuant to the provisions of General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, 2, to discuss strategy with respect of contract negotiations with non-union personnel, and if in an open meeting, will have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the body, the public body, and the chair so declares. And 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining of litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, all units. And opiate litigation. And 6, to consider position of the body,
Nope.
the exchange, we gotta make these bigger if I'm gonna read it.
Space them, double space them.
The exchange, lease, or value of real estate, if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the body. 380 Washington Street, 660 Washington Street, 32 School Street, 172 Center Street, 140 Center Street, and 7, to comply with or act under the authority of the general or special open meeting law, Mass General, Section 30A 21, voting of executive session minutes.
All in favor? John? Yep, that's okay. John?
Yes.
Yes.
Rich? Sean?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sabrina, I'm gonna need